Did you know that back in 1969, under President Nixon, we almost had a bill pass that would have granted United States citizens roughly $10,000 a year in universal basic income payments? It passed the House twice, and twice it was shot down by the Democrats because they believed that the bill did not go far enough and that it should have been more money. So, after it got shot down a couple of times, Nixon was dissuaded from pursuing it any longer, and universal basic income in America ceased to be a discussion for almost, what, 30, maybe 40 years? And now, the fun thing is that back then, it was a big topic. Martin Luther King Jr. was an advocate. There was over 1,200 economists who signed a letter requesting that it be passed for the betterment of the economy, for the betterment of the people, for the mental health. And there was even studies being done, an experiment in Seattle that showed that employment rates went higher, full-time employment, mental health went up. But one thing those studies showed or noted was that divorces went up by 50%. And they said that the problem with UBI is that it grants women too much independence, and that's one of the reasons it's bad. Also, one of the financial advisors to Richard Nixon was an Ayn Randian free market enthusiast, and they believed giving free money sort of went against their beliefs, so they had to fight against it quite harshly. And that's some of the reasons that UBI of the 1969s sort of fizzled out. Now, why am I talking about this now? Well, if you were following the Democratic primaries last year, you would know that Andrew Yang was running heavily on a universal basic income platform where every American would get $1,000 a month paid for by a VAT tax. If you're curious more about that, you can research it. Google is your friend. It's a fun topic. But what matters is that most recently, or yesterday, an article was published on NPR by Emma Peasley that was entitled Results from the City That Just Gave Away Cash. Now, this study, or this experiment, was highly spearheaded by Michael Tubbs, the mayor of Stockton, one of the poorer cities in the United States. So what they did was they gave certain individuals in their city $500 a month for 2 years, and they just researched it to see how it went. And unsurprisingly, the full-time employment rates went from 20 some percent to 40 some percent. Individuals reported feeling happier, their mental health improved. A lot of individuals worry that, oh, well, they're just going to spend it frivolously. They're not going to know how to spend it because money just given to individuals will make for lazy workers. But they found that the money was actually spent on oftentimes pursuing degrees or taking more risks to get the real estate license or just spending it on day-to-day needs. Because a big problem that individuals in the United States are running into is that they cannot afford a $400 expenditure. I believe that before the global pandemic struck, it was roughly 68% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck, which is highly problematic because if you do not know, because if you might be financially secure, lacking money can create a lot of anxiety, and anxiety hurts our decision-making skills. So then we slowly give up our autonomy, and we're just like fumbling around these little zombies, struggling with this boot on our neck, trying to survive to make a living. And that's not really living, that's more of surviving. So, if you can't tell, I have a bias towards universal basic income, but that's just based upon a little bit of the research that I've been doing over the last year or two. So, if you're curious, now we have more research that supports what we believe UBI would do. Abolish poverty, because poverty is not, I don't remember what this comes from a TED Talk, but poverty is not a sign of a lack of character. poverty is a sign of a lack of money. And a lot of people mess that up because they think, oh, if you just work hard enough, if this, and this, can't give them money, free handies. That must be socialism. Well, if you think it is, I challenge you to venture forth and research for yourself, because life is all about challenging our own beliefs, and if you're not doing that regularly, then you may be, what would you call it, in a pocket or a vacuum of self-fulfilling biases or something. I don't know. Venture forth, read the article, read the War Normal People additional information to read, because it's important. The more you know, and now you know more. So thanks for tuning in. Toodles.